Greetings, salutations, man. What they say about an idle mind, right? But at the same time, it's different from when idle mind versus when you just kind of waiting on something amazing to happen, right? I think a lot of rattlers are waiting on something amazing to happen. We're gonna see. You already know what something what it's about to be. Things up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings, salutations. What's up, family? Look, for today, let's see what the title is. No time to be stuck in idle, right? So, for those who don't know, idle is normally, when the car is kind of sitting there, what's up, little baby? Or you just kind of waiting, right? So right now though, we looking pretty solid, man. And hopefully we get some pretty cool things going on. Y'all haven't seen full transparency. Look, FAMU sent out recruiting offers to about 20 student athletes. And yeah, we didn't get to create all that stuff. So we will update those and get those going, man. So but just time, man. Working on stuff around the house as well. So, but we are gonna look at some of the information, like one why it's important, but then what went around the sweat this week? What was kind of some of the things. What's up, Montre? So appreciate all those who watched us with Fat Mouth Sports. We did a little Fat Mouth takeover. Let them kind of run and share the space. So good times. If you looking for that one, go look on their page. We definitely, or I definitely was like, we'll let it stay on their page today, man. They are a little more aggressive than us sometimes when it comes to saying some things. So I was like, let's err on the side of caution and make sure we all good to go here. So, but yeah, so if you are looking for that, it is on their page. Good times though, man. So it's nothing that we didn't love to do. Definitely something we all enjoyed. So, and looking at my show notes here, like what happened? So, there we go. Look, I have no clue what happened there. Looks like we got like an extra like 15, 20 pages or something. But what's up, Gail? All is well. So hoping all is well with you and yours. So as mentioned, FAMU's been out there doing a lot of recruiting this week. And it was pretty cool, man. Like I definitely enjoyed it. I'm one of those people. I am definitely a bit of a recruitnik, and it's always one of my favorite things to look at. I will fix these show notes later. I have no clue what happened to them. For some reason, nothing is showing up. That's okay. I know them well enough. So, if I didn't catch it, what's up, Samuel? FAMU volleyball took some L's. Didn't really get the weekend results that you wanted, but it's still early in the season, right? So, for me, I'm okay with that. Just because it's early in the season, but we do all want for FAMU volleyball to get those wins. Also, FAMU cross country, they've been out there kind of doing their thing early in the season. So some good times we had, man. If y'all hadn't checked though, check the fifth quarter page. I haven't gotten to refine them, but we've had a lot of offers that have gone out the way of FAMU. So, kind of make sure y'all can see them. Make sure we pull them up right fast before we do all the other stuff. So let me see. Try to let it get there going. And happy birthday, coach. See you there. Also, Rattler Boosters. If y'all didn't see, the Rattler Boosters have continued to do their thing support-wise. So come over here, check it out. They bought a sled for the track team. So, we had the Rattler Booster share that on their page, and just continuously seeing them do some things. So, I will say this as a person who is continuously normally a Rattler Booster. Like I said, give you a few weeks, and we'll be back. But I want to see the Rattler Boosters do more small things like this. Like, I think one of the big problems that we have with any of our organizations is sometimes we try to do too many big things, right? Instead of trying to knock out some of the $70, $80 problems, we are trying to knock out $7,000 to $10,000 problems, including myself, right? So, what we can do is say, hey, here's $300-$400. Booster membership cost about $100. Life membership's about $750, right? I believe for the life membership. Then you never got to pay again. I'm looking at that. But I like that. Like, let's find some $150, $200 problems that you can kind of go from team to team and fix, because all of a sudden that shows the fan base that you're active and that you're doing some things. And I think that's really one of the most important things, just as a fan, to be able to see, and a supporter. Like, somebody asked me this weekend, they were like, should I join the Boosters or not? And I was honest. I was like, I kind of knew them, well enough. I was like, for what you trying to do right now, I would say for you to hold off, maybe do a little more Fang exchange because of where you're, some of the stuff you're trying to do, and just the fact that you're in a space where you kind of want to see where the money's going a little faster. With the Fang exchange, where it's going quick. Like, you may not know all the Fang exchange athletes, and we'll definitely gotta reach out to Ashley and to Shay and see if we can have them on and be like, hey, do we have a list of our Fang exchange athletes? Just so we can see where the money's going to. But I think as the boosters continuously try to reinvigorate themselves, right? I think those kind of small things, those matter. Like, show us that you bought something for the track team, and then bring Coach G on and have him talk about it and say, hey, the Rattler Boosters, they bought this, they bought that. Not just saying we appreciate your support. Everybody appreciates your support. But there's a difference between saying you appreciate my support and I see your support. And so that's where I had to applaud him on this, because I was at the FAU game and we were kicking to a kicking net that was broke. And I was like, if that's ours, we need new kicking nets. Like, I was on the sideline like, yo, y'all can ask. Ask Selvin, Mr. Cobb. I was like, yo, this kicking net ain't it. Like, kicking nets of $300-$400. That's something that you can manage. What's up, Mary 305? And Lil Baby says, yeah, I'm just doing AAA, and the next one will likely be Fang Exchange. I'm not mad at that. I know for me this year, I'm a little bit the opposite. It's probably gonna be boosters. If I do NAA, it's gonna be late, because again, look, in this economy, cuts gonna happen. So just saying, Booster have been supporting nutrition along with 220. Exactly, Montre. And see, a lot of people don't know that, and that's one of the things that we have to get people out there. Like, hey, this is what you're doing. Y'all gotta see it though. Like, for me, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with, hey, let me pay my $100 dues. I know what y'all do. Everybody doesn't see it, so we need more people to join in, and really see it. Like, because there's a space where we need everybody's support. What's up, Hollow? You haven't missed much. Not at all, man. Just saying, re-putting it up there. Rattler Boosters supporting on the track team. See the letter that they pinned, and you can actually see where they bought some sleds for the track team. So I would love to see that. Going forward, I'm just telling y'all, with Rattler Boosters, I do want to see them get away from being dependent on membership. Eventually, we're just seeing in the past 10, maybe 15 years. Okay, we'll say 20. 20 is fair. We've seen 4 hotels go up down the street from FAMU. Like, you got the big hotel right there across from Civic Center. Then you got those other 2 hotels up the road there, and you got another addition that they're building right now. So there's money to be made there. There is opportunities there. It's just we have to get away from the mindset as an organization that we just got to have a bunch of members, because the groups aren't doing that. That's not the model anymore. Like 20 years ago, that was the model because you also control parking. But in this day and time, we're seeing where the athletic department is not looking to give away parking and say, oh, we'll let you run it, and then we'll take a cut of what you give us back. It's not what they're doing. Like, especially you see in the north end zone, they just took that back. So exactly. You got to work on your sponsorships, and you got to get to a place where you are able to take advantage of the fact you're in a college town. You may have to float a bond or put a down payment on something to do an apartment complex or go in on a P3. Like, what if Rattler Boosters could go in on a P3? Like, you've heard Cousin Kelvin from the ONG Strike Zone talk about it. But what if Rattler Boosters and maybe some other organizations or other groups could go in and support a P3 to where the funds that go there go back to the boosters, and you pay a staff. Like, you don't just rely on volunteers. Like, that's a nice idea, but let's be honest. Hey, I just told y'all, like, for the show, hey, I ain't get to do all the recruiting stuff. There's 20 recruits, 20 offers, 1 commit. Didn't get to update any of them. I was working around my house doing some stuff. So I'm not the only one like that. So if you can build an organization to where you can create a staff that, hey, y'all are paid staff and you work for the organization, just saying. And that's what I'm saying. And that's the other problem. It's the same people on the groups. Like, literally, I just said with, like, I'm in the NAA normally, then Rattler Boosters. Like, most times those are the same people. What's up, Kev? So just kind of seeing that, those are some of the things that I noticed this week. Did talk about the volleyball team. Also, softball. Look, it's really 3 teams in the SWAC, softball-wise, that are trying to do something. FAMU, Jackson State. FAMU, Jackson State, and Alabama State. Cookman normally has a pretty decent squad, but they got facilities limitations. So we're going to see how that goes there, man. But football-wise, look, I'm gonna just put it up there. Y'all can see the offers were hot and heavy. Again, we didn't get to create stuff for all these players, but we will. I'll give you a couple of days. Told y'all volleyball didn't quite go the way we wanted to, but you can see, like, basketball put up a new video, but a whole lot of offers up there from the football team that went out there. So this idle week, the coaches were active. So all this on the 5th Quarter FAMU page. Y'all know we stay active. Even basketball went out there and did a little something. So, you know, it's been a good time. And little baby, I'm with you on the baseball. And it might be, you know, I don't know. I will say, from the people I've talked to about FAMU baseball, they said you're gonna like what you see. I did talk to one of our baseball parents over the summer. Not for long. It wasn't no long conversation, you know, give me the tea, everything else. But he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, you're going to like this team. He gave me the Men's Warehouse mantra. You're going to like the way you look. I was like, okay. All right. That's all I need to know. Because y'all know, look, I'm big time with that. Like, I want us to look good. I want to win big. I'm always excited to be the best. Like, that's just key. But baseball has been pretty quiet. You're not wrong. Softball's been the loudest. Outside of football and basketball, softball has been the loudest. Like, they've been consistently putting out content, letting you know that, hey, she's giving you something to believe in. I'm pretty excited about that, though. Like, I'm intrigued to see what it's going to become and see what that's going to be. So, but again, 20 offers this week. That was wild and crazy, and I did not anticipate all of that to happen. Like that was pretty cool. So um, I'm hoping I didn't delete all that stuff, but if I did, I did. But kind of looking back and looking at the weekend. Did y'all catch the FAMU Edward Waters? Not FAMU Edward Waters, sorry. FAMU fans were Edward Waters fans. Bethune-Cookman, Edward Waters game. Like, yes, they were very busy. Look, I'm with you on that. Because I ain't trying to be out here looking froggy against them, and we're gonna be talking about that definitely on Thursday. But I want to know what this Bama State looks like. Man, Hollow, that quarterback was awful. Like he did not look good at all. And so kind of watching that game though, I will say I don't know if I'm as disappointed as some people think. I would think VCU would get beat to sleep. Nah, I told y'all that. I never had BCU really losing that game. I think a lot of us kind of talked it up and made it sound good, but to actually be honest and be like, "Oh yeah, Cookman's gonna lose to Edward Waters," I didn't have that. You can say I'm a little biased from Division One to Division Two. I'll wear that, but I just didn't see that it was going to be the I don't want to say blowout, but the disappointment that a lot of people expected. Yeah, but they put it 40 points on South Carolina State. Hey, they did, but Cookman came to play that night. Like, and y'all know this ain't a Cookman podcast, but it was cool to see. Like, I think, especially for this weekend, when you're FAMUing and your team's not playing and everything else. One shout out to Howard. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely hating. They won. I did not think they were gonna beat Hampton. I think that's the only game I got wrong on the pick'ems. So we didn't do the pick'ems and everything on here. But there we go. I found out what happened. I think never mind. I know. I know what happened. But as far as for that game, I think the best thing about this weekend, if you're the SWAC, was your teams won. Like, that was huge because you had to win. Like, I think as a conference, one of the things I admire about the Southeastern Conference, and I'm not an SEC guy. Like, I'll tell anybody, I don't really care for the Southeastern Conference. I don't like none of them teams like that, except for Kentucky. Like, outside of Kentucky, I don't like nobody in that conference. Too slick. I don't rock with the Gators. That's just not me. But kind of looking at it, you needed the teams in the SWAC to win this week. Like, if you're FAMU especially, and you've lost to Howard, you didn't look great against Albany State. You looked decent, but you didn't look great. You needed your other conference opponents to get some dubs. Like, you just needed that because at the end of the day, you won because they won. Like, the fact that the other teams in the conference were just chilling and kind of doing their thing while you were at home chilling was good because you've beaten teams outside your conference. And the Howard loss doesn't look as bad. Like, I'm not saying from a fan standpoint it doesn't look as bad. It still look like trash to me. But from the standpoint of people who may not be following as close as we are, that loss doesn't look as bad. Like, Hampton and NCAT are probably the worst teams in CAA, but they got to win outside of conference. Then you turn around to Prairie View, they got to win outside of conference. Grambling, God help them. Got to win out of conference. So that now sets the stage where FAMU's got to win. Like, you got to win against Alabama State. And like, you can't afford to lose any games, but especially conference games. Like, because you've got one loss that's kind of bad, right? And I hate to say this, a piece of you, if you're trying to even consider postseason play, is cheering for Howard. Like, you need them to be decent, because if they're not decent, then that loss looks that much worse. Because now all of a sudden you're like, I lost to a team that wasn't that good. Whereas if they have a decent season, you continue to have a decent season, and maybe you have a hiccup here or there, you might still get some considerations outside of Celebration Bowl. Like, I'm just saying. Like, and I didn't and watched all the Alabama State last 3 quarters. I only hope is that their defense is not good. Body's our only concern. Ooh, okay. I got to go back and rewatch them, man. Like, the game I watched was the Alabama Birmingham game, University of Alabama at Birmingham. I don't think I got a lot from that, just because I don't think UAB is that good. I also don't know if they suck that much. Like, I got to rewatch that. When will the president introduce herself to 220? That's a good question. Honestly, I'm cool with it for now. Like I kind of, I like the fact that she's trying to play the win the people over card. Like, what I said was tongue in cheek the other night about the UF stuff, because it was like, all right, y'all gonna play that game. But she's trying to win the people over. I give her that. Like, I'm with you when you're right. Am I her biggest fan? No. But am I on Team Fire That Lady tomorrow? Not under this. Not with what we got, where we got what we got. And that's why I made sure I worded that the way I worded it. We was better than Howard. We beat ourselves with bad QB play that missed open touchdown passes. You're not lying. That loss wasn't bad. Did it leave a nasty taste? Yes, but it wasn't a terrible loss. Okay. Need Holler to now look. I'm saying, like, I need them to beat my projections. I had them like less than 4 wins. Like, stop Body, stop Bama State. Okay. Look, that team right there. Like, I heard some of y'all talking about Michael Vick and Virginia Tech, and I don't really think it was y'all. I think it was some of their people. Let's be clear. Norfolk State ain't showed you nothing. But Delaware State, baby. Delaware State is showing you something. Like, that team. Deshaun Jackson is the antithesis. He's like, yeah. Like, that is what I want to see when people come up here. What's up, Starks? When I hear people say, and when we got a favorite person, Ray Lewis. That's what I want to see. If that's what you're going to bring, I'm for it. Most times NFL coaches don't, or former NFL players don't really do well at FAMU. Like, we've never had a former NFL player do well at FAMU, but what Deshaun Jackson is doing at Delaware State is amazing, because he literally flipped that program. I'll be honest, their post-game interviews are different. I'll say it like this. Watch the post-game interviews of Deshaun Jackson, then watch the post-game interviews of Michael Vick. One feels like they're a head coach, where the other one doesn't feel as much like a head coach, just to me. They're not saying they can't coach or anything like that. I'm just saying, when I'm watching post-game, I look at Deshaun, I see a coach. I look at Mike Vick. What's the bronze level with the basketball team? Probably slim and none. Like, that, as far as I know. Ocho talking about getting his degree from FAMU. because a close one was Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart, Virginia State, like every game that they've been in has been close. Look at what Deshaun Jackson's done at Delaware State. I'm saying he was competing against Delaware. Like, go watch the games where Delaware State has played Delaware. Normally it's not that. Like, it's normally not that close. It's normally not that interesting. Like, you kind of watch those games, and Delaware versus Delaware State is normally not a good game to watch. It's normally a game which you kind of like, I'm here, but the football is trash. Not this year. Delaware versus Delaware State was a good game. Like, I'll be honest with you, this is the best Delaware State football I've seen in a while. Like, it's actually a watchable product. Like, and that's just me. Let's see. The Southern versus Alabama State game was 6-0 game to halftime. Yeah, I still think FAMU's a better team than Southern talent-wise. It's just, can you put it all together? Like, that's gonna be the question with FAMU this season. Like, just looking at those games in the MEAC this weekend, and then also, more importantly, looking at the SWAC. I think the biggest thing for me was the teams in the SWAC got wins out of conference. So, and excuse me for pulling up here on the main screen on the main computer, but I just know the laptop can't handle it. So, so y'all know. Well, if y'all don't know, you'll notice on Monday nights I leave the friendly confines. I got to get a space back to the wife so she can have a little space. But I think, yeah, man. Like, let me see if I can pull it up right fast. Normally I have it ready. And they don't even have, okay. Their website. I will say, and I don't care how you feel about Josh, former SID at FAMU. I told y'all, me and Josh was good with me. I know some folks don't, feel the same way I do. And that's okay. If you don't, that's your business. But here we go. Thank you, SWAC. So this is from their website, or their Cookman took care of business. Alabama A&M took care of business. Prairie View took care of business, and Grambling took care of business. Why were those important? Because especially Grambling and Prairie View, those are teams that are at your level. Like Cookman, you beat a Division II team. Alabama A&M, you beat a Division II team. Those are games that conceivably, right, they should win. But it also, the conference gets made to look good when you look at that Texas A&M Commerce game and see, like, okay, they got mollywopped by Florida State. It's the same Grambling team that should have lost Kentucky State last week. Like, they pulled it out, but they should have lost Kentucky State. This is Prairie View with a first-year head coach at that program, and he is wrecking shop. So just me looking at that as a conference, that's good, because now you have out-of-conference victories that help your in-conference teams. Like, that's just what I see. And this computer's acting goofy now. But that was the big thing for me. Like, and you're right. One seems, and sorry about that. One seems extremely confident, other seems unsure and almost scared. You're not wrong. Like, when I look at what I see at both schools, I don't love what I see if I'm Norfolk. I like the person. I love the person that's the coach. But if you ask me about what do I see as far as the product, I'm loving what I see out of Deshaun Jackson. Like, let's just keep that a bean. So, It was like, it was it. You don't like Josh. He was a good SID. Man, I love Josh. Like, I say it quick, the second A, Josh was good with me. And Josh was good with the staff. I'll say that. Like, so shout out. I know Josh was in Tallahassee for the weekend, so hopefully he enjoyed himself, got to catch some of his old stomping grounds, man. But yeah, man, Josh was amazing. Like, Josh Padilla, I cannot sing his praises loud enough. I know just for me and, helping me just get content out, Josh was influential, impactful. It was huge for me. So I, a, I'm not going to be in Tallahassee till, Friday at midnight. Can my parents come pick up my credentials? Sure. Like, going by, oh, hey, how's the family stuff, So, yeah, Josh was amazing. Dennis is good too, though. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, whatever. Dennis is good. It's just he's getting new stuff. And so, yeah, man. And let's see, our offense got to push up points, have ball control, also got a special teams on site. Man, as I get ready for that Alabama State game, right? I'm with Hollow. There's some things I'm looking for. And I got to really, I don't have to watch the film. I do want to watch some of their games just to see what's the difference between Alabama State, UAB, and Alabama State and everybody else. I'm really wanting to see, I'm with a lot of y'all. What's our secondary going to look like is a question to me. And defensively, it's two places, secondary, defensive line, because they're connected. Because if the defensive line cannot generate penetration, then the secondary is not going to be able to really do his job. And on top of that, in another thing, as my cousin Preacher says, the defensive line has got to slow down the run, because we know that at their core, right, Alabama State wants to run the ball. We know this, right? So, and we're not ruining this. We got enough recruits to where we could actually go into this, like, because it's like 20 kids. So we'll do that on Thursday. You got to slow down. And Hollows, say it again for the people in the back. Stop Andrew Body at all costs. Like, not hurting the kid. I'm not for that. I don't want nobody, to experience that. But you got to stop him. You got to slow him down. And you have to, on the flip side, RJ or Jet got to start fast. It can't be 2-3 series. One of the quarterbacks is out there, and they don't matter who. And they mumbling and fumbling and bumbling and looking like pure and D trash. And then you rotate somebody else in to get a spark. But because by that time, you might be down 2 touchdowns. And then you're going to rotate again. Like, you got to run with somebody. And I get you may want to run with the person you want to run with. But you got to put the best offense out there, because what we saw in the Howard game, you were a quarterback away. And had you even at least pulled one and put one in, maybe you get that spark. Because that's some of the talking points, right? Hey, so after you get pulled out the game, he get his mind right. Okay. Well, it don't even need to be a conversation. It just needs to be an action. Like, we have to do things that are going to make you move offensively. And you got to score early. You really want to score first. We do know, especially with RJ, his first drive is normally his best drive. It's a scripted drive. He knows where to go. He knows what to do with it. It works really well. After that is when it seems to have problems. But we did see in the last game where he showed he can push the ball down the field. Like, man, look, first down play call is normally the same play. I hate to say it. Go watch. They watch the film, so I ain't gonna say it, but we pretty much run the same play on first down most times. Like, it's It's a check down. Check down or a run. It's pretty much the same. Like we're not pushing the ball downfield on first down. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not advocating that you always push the ball down the field, especially when your quarterback kind of holds the ball for a long time, depending on who's in there, right? So that's going to be something that has to happen. Run game wise, I do want to see all three running backs. I do want to see the three-headed monster if possible, just because I get some of y'all want to get Thad 20 touches. I love the concept, but in actuality, I think, especially in modern football, running back by committee is the way to go. Like, get you 2-3 running backs that can wear down defense. You have two guys that are very physical in Bo and Thad. Then you got your speedy guy. So I think if you can get a nice little rotation where you give the running back some chances, because the thing with that, he gets blown. Like, he gets tired. So I think if you can rotate running backs in there, that's going to help out. And then you got to hit your receivers, probably put the ball in front of them if you can. We've seen that if you put the ball behind them, they're not going to catch it. May have to change the catch radius for some of them. Some receivers probably shouldn't play. I'm gonna put that out there. Some of the adjustment and some of the need that you're gonna need for the Alabama State game is the fact that some of those guys at receiver probably shouldn't be playing and should not have been playing. And that's just being honest. Like, but additionally, you got tight ends and they're good. Like, Ritter is a very solid tight end. Like, all your tight ends are actually pretty good. Can I say it for the people in the back? Your tight ends probably catch the ball better than the receivers. I'm just being honest. And I'll be honest. Other thing, as my cousin minister friend said, and look, y'all get to see the Halloween decorations. I ain't mean to leave that there. So Halloween's a big thing in my house. Like, matter of fact, that game, we won't get there till Saturday morning. But I don't need to see Ritter stretched out at receiver. I don't think that gives you the advantage you think it does. Like, I think defensively, you're actually giving them an advantage when you put him out there and stretch him out wide. Because is he quick? Yeah. But is he fast? And is he actually putting pressure on a defensive back? No, he's not. Now, if you're going to swing him in and have him kind of run almost like a reverse type vibe and have him come on reverse and lead block, that's a wrinkle in the offense. And you can even hand off the ball and have him run up the middle where he can get some short yards. But I think stretching Ritter out there as a receiver doesn't give your offense any schematic advantage. It's just a different look. And just because it's a different look doesn't make it look good. Like, I'm looking out there and I'm like, as a DB, I'm like, bro, I'm not really sweating you. Like, and it's not because he's not a good player. It's because once you stretch him out wide, especially into the slot, speed-wise, he's not a threat to a defensive back. Size-wise, he's a threat, but he's only a threat size-wise because of his weight. He's not tall. He's like 5'11", 6 feet, somewhere in that area between there. Probably, might be a little bit lower, shorter. But when you're doing that, you're giving up speed in a offense where you're saying we need speed. Stretching him out to a receiver when the other receivers aren't executing isn't the best move to me. And there we go. I think he's reliable. I told y'all, Ritter's probably my favorite player. So my critique is going against me saying, like, that's my favorite offensive weapon right now. But I think he's a better weapon when the guy's on the outside of catching the ball. And even if you're putting in a stack formation, he can become like a Wes Welker type guy because that's, quicker than fast. More of a secure guy that you can check the ball down to than he is fast. But he's hungry. Like, I love our tight end room. I think, like I said, I think your tight end room may be the best part of this offense. But I think the fact that your tight ends are doubling as H-back is also really a nice wrinkle to this offense, but I don't necessarily need you stretching that H-back out to the receiver. I think in that case, sacrifice speed for the reliability, because it now puts pressure on the defense, because now with that speed, you're stretching out the defense, you're making the commit. And all of a sudden, when you have a mobile quarterback who can take the ball down, that opens up the underneath a little bit. And that may even put a spy on the quarterback that now coverage-wise messes with the coverage that they're running. So that additionally helps open up your receivers and maybe even opens up that H-back tight end guy to kind of come under, let RJ kind of move the guy that's going to spy him. So I'm just saying, like, getting ready for this Alabama State game. And I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't really the purpose. But I realized we got like 20,000 offers. It's like 20 offers. So a brother's gonna be hustling for the next couple of days to make sure we get caught up. And so we'll do that on Thursday. Let's go ahead and talk about Alabama State game. I think that's going to be something you need to do. I think coaching wise, it's going to be interesting because I've seen growth from Alabama State coaching wise. I don't know how much is that just the fact that you got Andrew Body and you can just kind of lean on his skill sets a little bit, but you also have an offense that looks kind of competent. Like they understand what they have. They realize this guy's he's kind of good. Let's do something with him. Like, the way to get your receiver open is to throw deep early with the incompletions. They come back to dump off to the running back side in the screens. Now DBs have to support. Thank you. Look, I thought I was the only one. And let's be honest. Go back and watch the Albany State film. That's part of what they did. Like, they took advantage of some of your corners and coverage, and they made it such that, you know, at the beginning, they really couldn't get the run game going at all. Later on, they bombed us a few times. You know, as children say, blurred. And now you got to protect that. And you got to keep a spot on the quarterback. And it opened up the run game. So, again, just kind of getting ready for that game and looking for it. And, you know, I think Hollow started it. So, y'all can blame Hollow. FAMU's going to have to do a couple things that game. First, offensively, you got to score early. Honestly, if I'm Cozy and I get the option, I defer. Like, when it comes to the coin toss, I'm deferring. I don't want to see my offense out there early. Let me start my defense. Why? Because at halftime, I get the ball back. That gives me that possession. That gives me that time, halftime, to make an adjustment, talk about what we will and what we won't do. That's my standpoint. That's where Keith is on that. Additionally, if you do start with the ball for your scripted plays, like, be careful throwing the ball short, because Alabama State's got a good defensively minded coach. He watches film just like all of us watch game tape. Like, the same way you watch the game and you and I see the same thing first down, we watched the Howard game. First play was what it was. We watched the FAU game. First play, what it was. We watched the Albany State game. First play was what it was. You're essentially running the same play, first play every game. You know what's up. So, defensively, you don't think the corner is sitting on that? Like, I'm just saying, like, I think V-Smart, that's not a bad idea. First play of the game, push it. Like, apply pressure. Because if you overthrow it and they didn't expect it, no harm, no foul. Like, especially if you overthrow it and, you know, the guy beats the corner down the field and it goes out of bounds. Okay, cool. You just showed the defensive coordinator something, though, because now it's like, oh, crap, they can actually throw. It's kind of, okay, yeah, we got to respect that. Now you can go back to what you really want to run. Whereas I think if you come out there running that same stuff you've been running every other game, they're sitting on it. And they know you're going to do it. And they're waiting on it. And you run the risk of them running a zone defense, the corner staring down the quarterback. You throw that same route you've been throwing to the same person or the same people every play, and that corner jumps the route. And next thing you know, their band's playing, and you're sitting there looking like, oh crap, here we go. So it's just saying, like, it says you need to know where you stand on D with body. There's my game plan early. Hopefully, someone's coach is all about running the same play first. Just saying. And look, you are just like, look, Jay, you're right. I'm just saying, this is honestly, I told one of my line brothers, they're actually twins. I was like, this is the game. I was like, I was like, if you want to come to Tallahassee, this is a game to come to. Homecoming's gonna be fire. I ain't gonna lie to you. Homecoming's gonna be lit. But if you want to get a diverse population of people, this is gonna be the one. Homecoming's gonna be jam-packed. You can pay out the nose for everything. But Albany State, Alabama State, Jackson State. Okay, I don't know about Jackson State. I don't know where they're gonna travel. Alabama State's gonna travel. This is going to be a fun atmosphere. It's going to be very similar to what it was against Albany State. You just won't have a light show until maybe the end of the game. Like, I'm just saying. Like, and this is not a game where I would bet eyebrow. I don't bet eyebrows in the first place, but I sure as sugar wouldn't do it this game. Like, look, this is 2003. It is. 23, excuse me. It is. Like, every FAMU Alabama State game pretty much comes down to the wire. I can't remember the last time one was a true blowout. It's probably been before we joined the SWAC. Like, and that's just off the top of my mind. I don't have any notes on it. Told y'all, I literally was cleaning up the notes on the show. 'Cause I was like, what the heck happened? So I'm thinking we were in our little meeting, something happened. But yeah. Every day I question my decision for going to homecoming because of the prices. Yeah. Always lit game at either stadium. Yeah. 03, 08, 03. Okay. Yeah. I was definitely at 08 because there was a young lady. Her family was from Alabama State. I used to work with her, and she was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll be at that game. Hey man, this is how you remember stuff, man. Like, was it 28-0 first year in the SWAC? Okay. Look, I'm not gonna refute it. Look off the top of my brain, I don't remember, but this is one of the better ones. I think this is a game. If you're a FAMUan, this is the one you're nervous about because this is gonna tell you where you're gonna be in the SWAC. Like, you get the dog walked on you at home for this game. In this division of the SWAC, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough road to hoe. If you come out and it's tight, you might have a little hope. You come out and win, especially if it's decisive, you got a whole new lease on life. Like, you over looking over your shoulder, like, that's the best offense in the conference. Like, the Alabama schools got the best offenses. Like, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, they got the best offenses we've seen. I don't know if Jackson State hadn't shown us everything. That's just me being honest. And I know that quarterback didn't play last week. So just kind of thinking out loud, this is going to be that game where at the end of the game, you kind of looking over your shoulder and saying either you did great or you didn't do great. And I also think this is the game that settles the QB decision, whether it's because players have played their fourth game and they can redshirt, or because you saw something. Because I think looking at this one, this is the game that I personally had marked on by this time we would have a quarterback. Honestly, preseason, I thought we had a quarterback. I thought it was going a certain way. It didn't go that way. I was like, okay, cool. So with the guy we got, this is the offense you're running? Didn't see that either. So with the guys we do have, my question is, are you going to try to force a square peg into a round hole? have we seen growth in 2 weeks? Or is it going to be slow decisions? Because this is a game where you're going against a defense. They're not great, but they're still coached by the same person. What's up, Mom? I see my mama. Look, I feel like I feel like my mom made that account just for me. That's just me. How ugly or crazy it gets. If FAMU wins, they at least win the SWAC. They should. Honestly, this is the year in the SWAC where, depending on what Alabama State does, you could lose a game and still go to the Celebration Bowl. Just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. In the words of Outkast, that's my interpretation of the situation. But I feel like this is the year where you could lose one game and actually get it back. Most years we don't see that just because Jackson State's normally, they've been the cream of the crop. It's either been Jackson State or FAMU. But having Alabama State have a quarterback that's healthy, potentially healthy, and that's that guy, it's a difference. And say I hear you, but that's a big jump. Hey, yeah, if you're able to win this game, you are in control of your destiny. I'll say it like that. If you are not able to win this game, man, that 220 Club meeting is a whole lot more uncomfortable, because you're going to get some of those questions that aren't good questions. Like, they talking about passion, how the players play, and pride. They care. They don't want to lose. Like, I'll stop. I hope Dr. Colsey and the coaches go what works and not just what they want to do. If they do the latter, they lose more than the game to me. I agree. I think, again, that was my outrage with the Howard game. I felt like you did what you wanted to do. And I didn't feel like at the time you did what was best for the team. But I think if you are, like I said, post game, we in the Lawson Center, and it get ugly, and it better get ugly for the right team, because if not, it's going to be some tight jaws, a lot of reallys, and it's going to be some uncomfortable conversations in the message boards. Like, them Facebook streets, not going to be pretty. Look, and we just know it. Like, you will pretty much be waiting for homecoming, and some of y'all gonna be on the fence for Classic, because say what you want to about them Sandcats. The last 2 games, they've been scoring. Quarterback don't look great. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. Not my cup of tea. But you gotta give the people something to believe in. And like I said, this can't be a game where the mistakes we saw happen from last week carry over. You gotta, defensively, there's one corner you can't leave by himself right now. Respectfully. It's not a slight on the kid, but what we saw can't happen again. Like, tackling wise, you need to have at least one guy who can tackle. What's up, Nehemiah? Like, it's just got to happen. Like, offensively, your receivers got to catch the ball. And if the receivers aren't catching the ball, throw it to the people who are going to catch the ball. Like, there's nothing wrong with them being fast decoys. Like we just saw in the comments, scroll up, you'll see where, oh yeah, that person, they're more secure. They're better with catching the ball. We've seen with these tight ends, again, the tight ends probably had better hands than receivers right now. Like, I'm great for flight delays. Hey, man, I appreciate it, Doc. But just saying, like, when you're looking at this team and you're looking at going into this Alabama State game, those mistakes that you've seen in the first 3 games, and really game 1 and game 3. Game 2, I don't really take a lot from it just because you're playing against a superior opponent, right? But the stuff you saw in game one, the fact where against a team that was really not playing to win, they just were playing to hold on, and you let them hold on. And it almost at times felt like you game plan to hold on. That's frustrating. Like, you don't game plan to hold on. Like, God rest dead. But Levon Terrell said it best: kill a mosquito with a hatchet. Like, I know that he did, I know, Jay Gaither and others. You kill a mosquito with an axe. Like, you want to win? Overkill. Like, that's the way you win. Like, and that's what FAMU alumni and fans are used to. We're used to, we don't just do it, we overdo it. We say we brag different and all these different things because the fact of the matter is we don't just do it. Well, a lot of times we do it with less and we do it better. And that's the standard. Offensively, holding on and saying I'm gonna get by, that's not what we used to. We used to get that dub and win by some points. Like, you notice with volleyball, we cool right now because we know once we get to swag play, we're gonna be in the top 2. And a lot of those games, it's gonna be some overkill. Same thing we do with baseball. All right, you play Florida, you play UCF, you play USF. But once we get to conference play, it'd be some overkill. You can't play these games to be tight. Like Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. Not, I thought we'd get by with, that. Nah. You want to do just to get by. Play to live quality. I don't want to hear that. We want to win. And we want to win big. And that's the expectation. And if you can't win big, win. But don't plan on playing tight. I think that was one of the lessons from the first game. Second game, again, you can't take a lot from it. Third game, though, thankfully, we saw where, okay, you rested your offensive line. Some of them, they on week 2.5 of some rest. Okay. They need to gel. They got to communicate. They got to be prepared to strain on the blocks because we do know one quarterback holds the ball longer than others. That's not controversial. You can watch the film. It says it. Like, one quarterback holds the ball longer than the other. Some of the receivers don't catch the ball. Like, that's not a slight. That's the facts. Like, just saying. And look, if we're going to do it then we're going to do it big. Exactly. I got my Jameis shirt somewhere. And it says, FAMU does not win my homecoming tickets and the rest of the year are for sale. Parking pass included. You're not the only one. It's like, not coming for foolery. Exactly. Like, and that's not fair weather. Like, I miss me with anybody who's like, oh, you're a fair weather fan. No, that's called protecting my mental faculties. I tell people quick, I'm very protective of my mental health. I'm sorry. Like, I love sports. I watch the Bucks win, lose, come back to win. Then I listen to the Cowboys. Man, once I realized the Cowboys were going to catch that fresh L, I was like, all right, I'll holler. I was good. I listened to the Rays a little bit. Hey, I'm not going to sit up here and stress and strain with a product that's not what it needs to be. I want to see how hard Franklin runs. I personally think Somerset is better fit with this OL. Okay, EA. I like that. Okay. Not saying I agree or disagree. I love your comment though. Okay. I was actually kind of disappointed with the victory formation. Okay. This is where I come to hear straight talk. Hey man, we try to be honest. I'm not watching my Cowboys for that season. I'm not. I told y'all the second they got rid of Michael Parsons, I was like, yeah. At least my Lynx got a dub. Okay. I hadn't really gotten to WNBA. Like, probably because we just don't really have a local team, and close local teams like the Atlanta Dream. So they got to do better at that. But yeah, like I think game one lesson, You can't play to keep it close. Like if you're gonna win, win. Like get your offense, get to a point where they're scoring and make scoring a habit. I think defensively they gave you a good showing, but I think you might feel better with the showing that they put on, but again, I still don't value Howard as a great team. I think they're serviceable. I don't think they're great. I think the other part, what you really took from that third game was some of these teams can run in tempo. Like, I think Albany State showed you, especially even, you consider their offense, but some of these offenses are running and can run their offense at tempo, and tempo messes your defense up. Like, do I think it should be a sellout? Close. Probably with their fans coming in, yes. I think it will likely be a sellout with their fans coming in. But we've seen where defensively, running your offense at tempo is an issue. Like their opposing team running their offense at tempo is an issue. Like we struggled against it. I hadn't seen a lot of problems as far as us getting lined up. Sorry, I had to knock on some wood on that. But I've seen more so where like tackling becomes a problem. Joker stop wrapping up. Like, and I think that's a lesson from both games. Like, you probably, if you don't have the little tackle donuts that you can roll out there, hit up the boosters and say, hey, we need some of these. It's $500 to $1,000. Can you write a check for $2,000 so we can get back to tackling better? Like they have the little tackling donuts, they roll them, the players catch them, tackle, bring them down. I think that's just, one of the things in the first two games where we've seen later in the games, guys start just throwing shoulders. And the bad part of throwing your shoulder is, one, it's a health issue because you throw your shoulder and don't bring that arm with it. Somebody hits you in the neck the wrong way and it's something. But, I don't want to put that out there, but it is what it is. But the other thing we've seen from the two games is, these quarterbacks got to get it. Like we've seen where you got a quarterback that starts off slow and take a little time to warm up. And you got another quarterback that's a little more decisive. That ball's coming though. And when he throw it, it's going. So you got to figure out your quarterback play. So I think just kind of looking at these first three games, right? And going into this bye week, first thing, as I stated, you got to figure out one of your offensive score. That's a huge part. But some of those bad habits, like coaching wise, keeping teams close is a bad habit. Like, and we've seen that a couple times, like where post game is, well, we thought we could get by with this. Nobody wants to hear that anymore. Like respectfully. And it's not being mean. It's just being candid about this. Like, you need to win. And you're not going to win if you don't take points. Like, when your team's on the field, you need points. Like, point blank, period. 3, not 7, 7, not 3. But every time you hit the field, you want to score. And that's not saying they don't want to score, but saying that there's a need for every quarter. You should set a standard and say, hey, every quarter, we need 2 touchdowns at the least. Is that a lot of points? Absolutely. But it's the goal, right? Like first half, you want to go into halftime with 20 points. I think an outright 20 plus for the half. That should be your standard because that means in most games, you're tight. Like, and in a lot of games, you have the lead. Second half, if you're hitting 20 plus, you can back off a little bit in the fourth quarter. But that sets you on pace to where offensively, you're going to be one of the better offenses. And then defensively, your defense is likely going to be on the field for less time. Again, my biggest frustration with the Howard game was the stats. The stats said you should have won, but you lost. And on top of that, you got to make adjustments earlier. Like sometimes we don't adjust fast enough. Like I kind of use the joke of Donald Trump quite often when he's talking about, your homeboy Jerome Powell. Jerome's a white man. Probably that's the first time I've ever seen a white Jerome. But too slow, way too slow, too slow. Like that's his criticism. And we saw where, the got moved down. But that's his criticism. Like that guy's too slow when it comes to making decisions. How you feel about Jerome Powell is how you feel about him. We're not here to talk politics. But when it comes to fantasy football, sometimes we're too slow in our adjustments. Like we adjust this game for what happened in the last game, which is important. But a lot of times we miss making that adjustment in game. And it's like post game, you'll hear Cozy say, it's like, so you saw it. Why didn't we adjust? Like, and that's just a question. That's not even like a harsh critique, but you just hear it like, this dude's not stupid. Like, he's smart. He knows what's up. And then you'll kind of hear like, we were thinking this, but we didn't. Like, no. Don't second guess yourself. Your first instinct was right. Pull the trigger. Like, I shouldn't say that. Sorry. Make the decision. There we go. That's, I don't want nobody thinking nothing. I don't even talk about that kind of stuff, but make the decision. That carries over to the offense. Quarterback wise, make the decision. If you're going to ride with the horse that brought you there, ride that horse. But expect that post game to be uncomfortable if it's the wrong decision. And if it's the right one, just like y'all saw last week, Monday, ONG Strike Zone, we did our post game recap. My player of the game was RJ. So it's not a personal thing. It's not, I told y'all, it's not a dislike thing. It's not a I got to be right thing. It's more of a, it's what I see. I think it's a little slower, but okay. But if you need to make that move to switch, man, make that move early. Like that doing it in the third drive thing was genius because it was like, all right, we already knew going into the game he was going to get 2 drives. And then third drive, we knew Jet was coming in. My shock was that he came back out. But then once RJ went back in, I can't take nothing from him. He hit what he needed to hit. Running back wise, you got to rotate it. You can't just put Thad in there and wear him out because he's one person. Him, Bo, you're going to have to put 3, maybe 4 running backs in there to get the most out of this. And you have fullbacks and tight ends who can jump in there too. Like, open up the offense. Like, we've already said the design and part of this offense, this success, is going to be getting the ball to players in space. Get the ball to players in space. And if they can't catch it, don't be afraid to pull them. And go to other people. Like, that's, again, make the decision. Like, hopefully by the center QB. Oh, man. Yeah, that needs to be like the whole week. Look, I welcome anybody at 220 ask that question. Like, did we work on snaps this week and the whole week between the quarterback and the center, the starting and the backup center? Like, let's not, play games with that. Have 2 weeks to prepare a game plan. Let's hope it's better than the plan last year before the JSU game. Yeah. When I tell you, I still haven't watched that game. It's just, like, I tried to watch it, and that's probably, the good Lord protecting my mental faculties. I tried to watch it. I couldn't watch it in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium because I was at the UF Kentucky game. My birthday, my buddy Daniel and I, we celebrate our birthdays a couple days apart, so we'll celebrate them together. Y'all seen Daniel in the comments before. So sorry your boys lost yesterday. I was not necessarily cheering for them because I never cheered for the state flag, but sure as sugar wasn't cheering for the U. Y'all know I don't do the state Florida private schools like that. I just don't. We don't do no private schools like that, but especially them. Anyways, but yeah, like that's got to be, the other part. Offensive line wise, you got to get those snaps down. And finally, on offense side, you got to get those penalties down. Like as a team, but first 2 games, you showed that you could play clean football. And then Albany State happened. And we were at 10 penalties before we knew it. Like, I think we finished the game with like 12 penalties, which is double the amount per game that we were averaging. I do understand we had a lot of backups in the game. You can't win against a potent offense when you're getting dumb penalties. And some of the penalties, personal foul, for 2 weeks, I gave you the discipline award. Hey, tightened up discipline. Discipline looked good. I don't want to hear about discipline. This week, if they ask you about discipline, I ain't mad at it. Like, ask away about discipline because it needs to be there. Like, 10 penalties, you're not Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't know if y'all saw it. The Bucks had 10 penalties in the first quarter. I was like, what in the world? They're like, oh, yeah, Wirfs wasn't playing. I'm like, that's half the problem right there. Best offensive line's not playing. A lot of what you saw in the game with FAMU. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen were not on the field. So that's got to be it there. Defensively, you got to figure out a way to run that 3-3-5. I mean, if you're going to run a 4-2-5, that's great. You're probably going to run the 3-3-5 that we've been seeing. But if you're going to run that 3-3-5 stack, you got to find a way to get some pressure on the quarterback. You cannot let Andrew Body just sit there and pat the baby. I don't care what you want to say about him. He has an awkward throwing motion. He will eat you up. Like, the Bucks had 3-0 line today. Look, I'm telling you, EA, I was watching and listening. I was listening for Gene. I don't know if Gene Deckerhoff retired. I know he retired from Florida State, but I don't know if he retired from the Bucks too. I'll check. But yeah, that was rough. Linebacker wise, you got to tackle. You got to tackle and be in coverage. Like, we saw too many missed tackles, and some of that's just you got worn out. And in secondary, TJ Huggins can't be the only guy that can cover. Like, it's just, I think so, Nehemiah. Says, I expect FAMU to blitz Body. I hope so. But again, just watching that game, secondary-wise, you can't be getting beat deep. And if you're running zone, you got to find a way to get to the quarterback. Because I think part of what I saw, and I would definitely want to rewatch it just to make sure I'm not wrong, I felt like when we ran our zone defense, we gave the quarterback too much time in the pocket. Like, it was almost like you expected 3 down linemen to generate enough penetration to get to the quarterback against 5. It's not likely. Like, I mean, you play NCAA football and you got the monsters of a defensive line, you can do that. But this is real football. They're on scholarship too. Like, at some point, you're going to have to create defensive sets that confuse the quarterback, slow him down. And I think you did that at times. Like, you made Quinn Gray kind of get away from rolling the quarterback to the right or the left. Once he realized that didn't work, he did pivot. I don't think Andrew Body's that guy. Like, and I'm not saying he's not good. What I'm saying is, I don't think Andrew Body is that guy that's going to run to one side of the field and just read half the defense. I feel like Andrew Body is that guy that's going to drop back, scan the field, and find what he wants. I think he's more of that guy. And I think if he can't find what he wants, he's going to run. And I think early on, you're probably running a zone that has a spy to where you find somebody to blitz. Do you blitz? Do you bring your safeties up and try to confuse them to where I'm going to blitz one, I'm going to drop the other. I'm going to blitz one and keep one as a spy. I'm going to keep one over the top. I'm going to keep him as a quarterback spot. Like, are you going to have a defense that is going to be something that makes the quarterback think and hold the ball and maybe gives the defensive line, along with the linebackers and the secondary, a chance to get to the quarterback? Like, you can't blitz Body and playing man. We don't stay in our lanes when blitzing, and Body will break the pocket and kill us as a runner. You got to do something. You can't let him just sit there and pat the baby, right? I mean, not to quote Willie Simmons, but he's not wrong. You can't just sit there and let that guy pat the baby because he'll have 500 yards. You got to put some pressure on him. I think we did see in the second Alabama State game where I think Southern showed you some things. I don't think they showed you everything, obviously, but I think they showed you enough. And yeah, I did watch some of the game, so to where he held the ball longer. Like it wasn't what UAB did. Like, but Alabama State about to have a field day versus FAMU. They wanted cozy. Now they're going to pay for that decision. Hey, hey, that's how you feel, Doc. I ain't gonna argue with you on Ed Reed no more. You got that. I think we're gonna see though, man. And that's what I think, little baby. I think Southern showed you some things. And I think with FAMU, I think they're better roster than Southern. And I don't think that's a bold statement. I think that's a team that you should defeat head to head. And I think when you watch that film of what they gave you against Alabama State, I think it gives you a whole lot more than watching Alabama State play some of the other teams. Like, because I don't think UAB gave you anything. I think you watch that film and you just see that they couldn't do it. And this coaching staff's not going to be here long. Whereas I think we watch Southern, it's like, y'all slow them down a little bit. That's a call I make. What did you do? That's film I look at and I say, hey, what can we replicate? And everybody's going to see the same film, right? He's going to look and see where he struggled at. Just saying, And if you pressure him, you cannot let him find Jalen Jones. Again, that's why I said for this game, especially early, I try to confuse him. I'm not man up on this. Like, I'm just not with the man-to-man defense. What that was? Oh, it was Allen Wrench. But I'm not man-to-man on this all day. I think if you try to man-to-man your way out of this, you're getting killed. Like, exactly. I think you're going to have a zone wherein you mix up who the spy is. You mix up who drops in the zone coverage. Sometimes it's a safety. Sometimes it's a linebacker. Majority of the time, it should probably be a safety. Who's going to be the spy? Maybe your strong safety is a spy one time. Maybe your linebacker is a spy another play. This guy blitz, that guy blitz. Like, I think you have to show him different things so that when he's processing, he's having to slow down. Because if you keep showing him the same defense, it's just like you taking a test. If I give you the answer to the test and I show you those same answers 3 or 4 times, by the time you take that test, you know all the answers because you just repeated it over and over again. You got to do some things to confuse him, make him slow down, and make him run because he knows he's injury prone. That's going to be a problem. Like, he's going to want to be tough, but he also knows. He knows what he knows about his body. He knows that taking too many hits, especially in this game, is detrimental to what he wants to do at the end. And I think a great example of that is what we saw at North Carolina Central with your boy a few years ago. Gets hurt. I think he got hurt in the All-Star game. He never really gets to play pro ball. I think that's going to be the things. Like, with this defense, I want to see multiple in coverage. Like, I want to see some differences. I want to see some things that where I'm looking over and I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't see that. Because if you just run man-to-man all day, it's not going to work. And you're going to have to keep a safety over the top. Like your DBs have shown, one of the 2 safeties got to be over the top. It is either the one on the right or one on the left. It can be a free safety. It can be a strong safety. But whoever it is, you're covering up number 16 probably. You probably don't have to worry about TJ Huggins. And you can even run some of these Nick Saban-style defenses that mix man and zone together to where, hey, this guy might stay in man while the other guys stay in zone. Like, it's just some of those things when you're playing teams that are nuanced like this, you got to do that because otherwise you're going to get eviscerated. And this is a sensitive time with your fan base where you can't be taking L's like that. So, yeah, man. Our spies aren't sure tacklers. That's why it's discouraging. You're not wrong. Hey, man, y'all already know we are still supporting the track team. If you are so inclined. Look, I had a couple people ask me, like, straight up, hey, man, what's going on with that? A couple track alumni. this is what we're doing. We are supporting the track team. Kurt Dawkins is our feature athlete, but it's for the whole team. Like, it's not just him. What we are doing is the funds go to the Fang Exchange, and they handle all of the processing. They make sure that it goes to the coaches, and coach contacts them and says when he needs them, and he gets it to them. So, if you do want to do other means, but this is the fastest way for it to get to them. Not speaking against the foundation, but just saying, if you don't trust the FAMU Foundation, you can trust the Fang Exchange. They have done a great job so far. And coaches gotten the funds when he needs them. So y'all know this is my team. So, this is my baby. So we're going to continuously support them and show love to them. But yeah, so look, y'all got Alabama State game preview early. So Thursday, we're talking about these 20 plus recruits that have been offered. Might dibble and dabble a little bit, to circle back, give you our predictions. For those who didn't or don't know, this week 4-1. So 4-1. My only loss, the Howard game. So I guess at this point, I gotta stop picking against them, man. I thought Hampton was gonna pull it out, but credit to Howard, man. They beat the fool out of them boys. So, man, for real, Hollow, 20 plus points. That's crazy. So, got to see what my standings are. I feel like I might have fallen a little bit. Hopefully, I'm not the only one that picked that game the wrong way. All right, y'all. For everybody at HBCU Digital Network, and for the wife that's going to be very happy that the show is over so she can get some sleep. Y'all already know what it's always going to be. Thanks.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey, how